Hello friends, I'm glad to welcome you to the Holly Lolly channel. Today we will go to my absolute favorite place in Tokyo, Odaiba, an amazing and unique island, an island made from reclaimed land. There is much to say about it, but originally this island was built in the 1850 seconds as a series of forts to protect Tokyo from naval attacks, particularly in response to the arrival of Commodore Perry's ships. Odaiba is an artificial island in Tokyo Bay, known for its unique attractions and very interesting history. Imagine a place that resembles the set of a science fiction movie more than an ordinary city district. Above your head, a driverless train glides along a bridge that itself looks like a futuristic arch into the sky. Below lies the bay, sparkling with reflections from glass skyscrapers. On the horizon, there is a huge robot capable of changing its form, and next to it stands a miniature replica of the Statue of Liberty, as if New York had moved to Japan. Here, you can see museums of the future, shopping centers, beaches, parks, and even an entire amusement city, all located on a single island. And the most amazing thing is that all of this was literally built on garbage and sand, dredged from the sea. It seems incredible that a place that was once only water has become one of Tokyo's most popular corners. But this is not science fiction. This is reality. This is Odaiba. Friends, please like this video to help promote it and enjoy watching. Odaiba is a place that clearly proves humans are capable of literally anything. Just a few decades ago, there were neither skyscrapers, nor shopping centers, nor parks here, only the waters of Tokyo Bay. But in the late 1970 seconds, a grand project of land reclamation began, and in just a few years, a whole island rose on an empty space. The most amazing thing is that all of this was done in a country where the ground constantly shakes from earthquakes. It would seem that an embankment built on water should be unstable and unsafe, but engineers applied a special technology, a multi-layered one. To help you understand how unusual this is, imagine placing one sheet of paper on top of another, again and again. It would seem easy for it to fall apart, right? Now interlace them, one sheet below, another on top, and so on, in turn. Try separating them afterwards, it won't work. This is exactly how, with the help of layers and special technologies, engineers achieved what seemed impossible, an island that stands firm and does not sink. But it all started with cannons. In 1853, Commodore Perry's black ships entered Tokyo Bay. For Japan, this was an alarming signal. The capital needed urgent protection. The shogunate ordered the construction of a series of artificial fortifications in the Bay small islands with cannons. These defensive platforms were called daiba, meaning battery, hence the name of the district Odaiba, which can be translated as large battery. But the real history of modern Odaiba begins in this 1980 seconds. Tokyo had a bold dream to build a city of the future right on the water. The plan was to create a huge reclaimed island with eco-friendly buildings, parks, and residential districts without traffic jams or smog. It was meant to become a showcase of the 21st century, a symbol of Japanese technology and progress. To make this possible, engineers literally began creating land from scratch. Millions of tons of sand, gravel, rubble, and recycled construction waste were dumped into the sea. All of this was layered like a giant multi-layered cake. Each layer was reinforced and compacted so that the structure could withstand not only the weight of the buildings, but also the forces of nature. One of the most remarkable facts about Odaiba is that the island was built not only from sand and concrete, but also from garbage. Tokyo had long lacked space for landfills, so the authorities found a brilliant solution. Instead of discarding waste, they used it to expand the city. Garbage was incinerated at special facilities. After burning at extremely high temperatures, dense slag remained a hard material similar to stone. This slag was pressed into blocks and sent to the bay, where it became part of the foundation. Construction waste was also used. Old concrete, brick fragments, soil, all of this was layered and reinforced, forming the base of the future land. Today, walking along the modern streets of Odaiba, it is hard to believe that beneath your feet lies compressed garbage. It would seem that everything was going perfectly. Authorities and builders were proud of the result, and newspapers wrote about a new symbol of progress. But at some point, this dream began to fall apart. In the early 1990 seconds, Odaiba looked like a stage before a premiere. premiere. The sets were ready, roads laid out, residential buildings standing, modern structures gleaming. Only there were no people. The island was empty. There were almost no new residents. Apartments turned out to be too expensive, and nobody was eager to live in an area without shops, schools, or hospitals. Moreover, the location itself was discouraging. Odaiba is situated in the bay, which meant that reaching central Tokyo was longer and more complicated than from other districts. People chose familiar neighborhoods where life was already established, rather than an empty island with promises for the future. The district, conceived as a model of modernity, suddenly turned into a ghost town. Entire residential complexes stood half empty, with occupancy in some places not even reaching 10%. Trains ran along the new lines with almost no passengers, and some buildings remained unfinished. The atmosphere, which was supposed to inspire, instead provoked anxiety. A vast area with buildings, roads, and bridges, but almost no people. By the mid-1990s, it became clear turning Odaiba into a residential district had failed. But instead of giving up and admitting defeat, authorities and businesses decided to change the strategy. If it was inconvenient to live here, then the district should become a place where people would come not for everyday life, but for experiences, and from that moment, the real transformation began. The symbol of the new Odaiba became the Fuji TV building, opened in 1996. It is impossible to miss a massive structure of metal and glass with a huge silver sphere on top. This sphere is not just decoration. Inside is an observation deck with views of the bay and the Rainbow Bridge. The building also has an elevator that moves inside a transparent tube along the facade. As it rises, it feels as if you are floating above the city on a drone, thrilling and a little frightening. After that, shopping and entertainment complexes began to appear. One of the first was Dex Tokyo Beach. From the outside, it resembles a ship's deck, and inside you can find shops, cafes, and, most importantly, attractions. Here, the Joypolis amusement park was opened, featuring modern arcade machines and virtual simulators. At that time, this was something completely new, and the park still remains an iconic place for teenagers and tourists. To prevent the district from looking like just a concrete jungle, an artificial beach was also created. Swimming in the bay is prohibited, but specially cleaned and sifted sand was brought here, selected in color to look beautiful in the light of the setting sunday. You know, I just walk around, admiring, enjoying the silence. Probably for the first time I came not just to shoot a video, but really to enjoy it, because Odaiba is probably my place of energy. There's the bridge, and behind the bridge, a noisy metropolis. But here, you truly rest your soul. You can come and sit quietly in silence. There are trees here, creating a kind of cozy atmosphere, the ocean. I can't calm down because, as my husband would say, I'm a born swimmer. I just love swimming, and here, the beach is really great, but you can't swim. Still, when you come to Odaiba, you really enjoy yourself, truly. So if you're in Tokyo, make sure to visit here. It's interesting, fun, not in the typical Tokyo way, because there everyone is rushing somewhere, but here it's exactly this calm little place. It's no wonder I chose it for shooting my music video. For those who haven't seen it yet, please watch. Yes, it didn't go viral, but it was made with love, as a keepsake. I just wanted to do it, and I did, and we filmed part of it right here. That's why it already feels like a kind of familiar, dear place to me. The Rainbow Bridge is a very important symbol of the district. During the day, it appears as a light white arch connecting the island to the mainland. But in the evening, the lighting turns on, and the bridge shimmers in all the colors of the rainbow. On holidays, the lighting scheme changes, turning it into a real show. The bridge is equipped with sensors that respond to wind and vibrations. Sometimes, during strong winds, it emits a soft humming, as if it were singing. The sound was also designed so that it wouldn't irritate, but rather soothe. Gradually, new symbols appeared as well. For example, the miniature Statue of Liberty. Initially, it was installed in 1998 to commemorate Franco-Japanese relations, but due to its popularity, it became a permanent attraction in 2000. Odaiba became a place where you can experience technology firsthand. At Miraikan, the National Museum of Emerging Science and Innovation, everything related to the future is on display. Here, you can see humanoid robots, observe drones at work, or participate in interactive experiments. Some couples even hold wedding ceremonies here, not in a registry office, but surrounded by digital butterflies and glowing installations. Another major attraction was Team Lab Borderless, a digital art museum that operated in Odaiba for several years. The walls, floors, and ceiling transformed into endless projections. People walked through the halls, while glowing flowers, birds, and cosmic scenes came to life around them. It was a true hit, covered by media, millennia around the world. The museum is located in central Tokyo in the Minato district. And next to the Diversity Shopping Center appeared a giant Gundam, a robot almost 20 meters tall. It doesn't just stand there. At certain hours, its lights turn on, its arms and legs move, the pilot's cockpit opens, and the voice of the anime hero can be heard. For a long time, Odaiba's landmark was the Pallet Town complex. Its main attraction was the Venus Fort Shopping Center, styled like a European city. The complex also housed a Ferris wheel and an exhibition center by Toyota, but in 2022, the entire complex was closed. The area was cleared for a new large-scale construction project. Today, there is no trace of the complex, but many Japanese people still remember this place with nostalgia. Odaiba also gave the city one of the most unusual transportation systems, the Yurikamome line. Imagine getting on the train. No one announces the stations. There are no doors on the cabin. You look forward and see only the rails, the sky, and the curving road over the water. Although the line is often called a driverless metro, technically it is an automated elevated transport system. Each Yurikamome train has no cabin and no driver. The entire system is controlled by a central computer which manages the route, speed, door operation, safety, and even emergency stops. If an obstacle or a person appears on the track, the system automatically stops the train. The train runs on rubber tires, which makes it almost silent and very smooth. This system was chosen for Odaiba because it does not require tunnels or complex underground infrastructure. This makes it cheaper to build and more earthquake resistant. And of course, a regular subway in the city of the future would have looked too boring. The first and last cars have panoramic floor-to-ceiling windows. That is exactly where you can feel like the train operator and get an absolutely unique view. Step by step, Odaiba transformed from an empty district into a center of entertainment and technology. People began coming here for dates, family walks, festivals, shopping, and photo sessions. From a ghost town, the district turned into one of the busiest parts of Tokyo. But is everything really perfect here? What engineering tricks are hidden beneath this beauty? How does Odaiba not sink, withstand earthquakes? And why hasn't it collapsed over all these years? Hundreds of huge concrete and metal pillars were driven into the base of the island, some up to 40 meters deep. They penetrate the soft sea silt and reach solid rock. Essentially, the island is stitched to the seabed like anchors and remains in place even during earthquakes. On top, the piles were covered with a multi-layered sandwich: sand, gravel, concrete, and special reinforcing materials. All of this was compacted layer by layer until a dense and heavy platform was formed. This foundation distributes the load and prevents the island from settling. Even the buildings and bridges were designed with earthquakes in mind. Skyscrapers stand on special bases that allow them to sway slightly without breaking, and the Rainbow Bridge was placed on movable supports that move along with vibration. Inside the island, there is a whole system of pipes and pumps that constantly remove excess moisture and prevent the ground from floating. Even during typhoons and heavy rains, Odaiba remains dry and stable. Engineers still monitor every millimeter. Underground sensors immediately send a signal if the soil starts to shift anywhere. In this way, Odaiba is under constant supervision and can be said to be alive. I want to say that Odaiba is a special place for me in Japan. Tokyo is a huge metropolis, always noisy, crowded, with people constantly rushing somewhere. There are millions of opportunities, but sometimes that can be exhausting. Odaiba is different. I love coming here in any mood, whether happy or sad. Sometimes I want to be alone, and here I can really hear myself. It is a place where you can relax and be inspired. Friends, a huge thank you to everyone for watching. Please support me with a like and by subscribing to the channel. Every like and comment helps promote the channel and motivates me to create new videos for you. Have a great day and see you in the next videos. Bye bye!